What happens when London's least effective hitman accidentally kills the wrong guy, flees to LA, and is then tasked with turning a socially awkward, LARP-loving teenager into a man, all while being hunted by a ruthless British mob boss? It sounds like the pitch for a movie where everything goes wrong, but trust me, it goes hilarious and gloriously right. Forget your classic action heroes. Today we are diving into the chaotic, laugh out loud and surprisingly heartfelt Hollywood action comedy London Calling 2025, starring Josh Duhamel and Jeremy Ray Taylor. This is not just a movie about bullets and banter, it's about bad eyesight, terrible fathers, and the unexpected friendship forged in the fires of a completely messed up contract killing. Stick around because we are breaking down the full story flow, from the moment a bad job sends our hero across the pond to the insane climax that determines their fate. The film starts with Tommy Ward, a British expat hitman who is undeniably stylish but frankly pretty mediocre at his job, partly due to his failing eyesight. He is on a contract in a swanky London nightclub. In a moment of classic cinematic misdirection, Tommy makes the colossal, career-ending mistake. He accidentally kills the distant relative of London's most feared and ruthless crime boss, Freddie Darby. Tommy kills the wrong man unknowingly, incurring the wrath of Freddie Darby. Okay, Freddie Darby, a man obsessed with the idea of avenging family even if he did not know the victim. He immediately puts a massive bounty on Tommy's head. Tommy is forced to flee the UK immediately, leaving behind his life and most importantly, his young son. Tommy lands in Los Angeles and starts taking a low-grade, miserable hit jobs for Benson, a despicable, small-time LA gangster. A year passes and Tommy is desperate to get back to London to see his son. He asks Benson for safe passage and money. Benson agrees, but with the major bizarre condition. Tommy must mentor his son, Julian. Julian is the polar opposite of a tough guy gangster, a sweet, socially awkward teenager who prefers live action role playing, that is LARPing, and video games to the family business. Benson wants Tommy to teach him how to be a man. Tommy strikes a deal with Benson, mentorship for Julian in exchange for safe passage and funds back to London. And here the partnership begins. The seasoned hitman is paired with the utterly clueless, anxious, and overprotected teenage nerd. Benson, in a stunning lapse of judgment, decides the best way to man up Julian is to have him accompany Tommy on his next contract, eliminating a legendary but now mentally unstable assassin named Alistair. The dynamic is instantly hilarious. Tommy is trying to be the cool, hard-boiled mentor, while Julian is more focused on getting the Wi-Fi password and quoting LARP strategy. Tommy and Julian's ride-along begins. The target is the unstable veteran assassin Alistair. Tommy and Julian track Alistair and his brother Seamus to a remote location. They try to pose as drug dealers to draw out their target, but Julian's social awkwardness and Tommy's poor planning led to a disastrous, explosive confrontation. Julian, however, has a secret weapon. His years of first-person shooting gaming experience translate into surprisingly deadly, precise aiming once he has a real weapon. He saves them both during a chaotic shootout, though Tommy's poor eyesight nearly gets them killed. The initial confrontation with Alistair and Seamus is botched. Julian's video game skills unexpectedly make him a lethal shooter, demonstrating an unconventional kind of manhood to Tommy. The job is now a complete mess, turning into a frantic fight for survival rather than a clean hit. Just as Tommy and Julian try to recover from the failed hit, their past catches up to them. Freddie Darby and his British goons arrives in LA, having tracked Tommy's whereabouts. The hunt is now officially on, creating a deadly three-way conflict. Tommy and Julian trying to finish the job, Alistair and Seamus fighting for their lives, and Darby trying to get his vengeance. Freddie Darby enters the LA scene. The stakes escalates from a simple hit to a full-blown gang war across the city. Running from an army of British mobsters, Tommy and Julian begin to genuinely bond, with Tommy realizing that Julian's vulnerability is actually a form of courage, and Julian seeing a more human, regretful side to the supposedly tough hitman. The chase culminates in a massive, high-stakes showdown. This is where all the characters converge. Alistair's brother, Seamus, makes a final stand. Darby and his crew close in. Tommy and Julian are forced to use everything they have, blending Tommy's old-school street smarts with Julian's modern, gamer precision gunplay. A chaotic three-way battle between Tommy Julian, the Alistair Seamus faction, and Freddie Darby's crew. In the heat of the battle, Alistair is dealt with, often in a surprisingly dark yet comical manner that ties back to the sheer insanity of their situation. More importantly, Tommy has his final, personal confrontation with Freddie Darby. Tommy manages to outsmart Darby using a combination of quick-witted plan and Julian's unexpected tactical support. Darby and his crew are finally neutralized or eliminated, ending the threat that forced Tommy to flee in the first place. Tommy defeats Freddie Darby, clearing the path for his return to London. With the chaos over, Tommy and Julian are unexpectedly successful. Tommy fulfills his end of the bargain. Julian has survived a chaotic night and in Benson's warped view has become a man. Tommy secures his safe passage back to the UK. The film ends with a bittersweet farewell between the unlikely duo. Tommy gets his chance at redemption with his son in London, and Julian returns to LA, not as a hardened gangster but as a more confident, self-assured young man who knows he can handle himself, even if he still loves his LARPing gear. Their story is a true testament to the idea that family and mentorship can be found in the most ridiculous, action-packed circumstances. And that's the full insane ride of London Calling. It's an unforgettable buddy comedy that proves sometimes the best partnerships are the ones forced together by a gun and a crime boss with a very confused idea of parenting. What was your favorite moment between Tommy and Julian? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more movie deep dives.